The prison of my own mind. There was a time when silence wasn't peaceful for me. It was unbearable. It wasn't the kind of quiet that brings clarity. It was the kind that screamed inside my head. I used to sit in my room at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I said the wrong thing, wondering if someone misunderstood me, wondering if maybe I was the problem all along. I would replay conversations over and over until my heart felt heavy with words that were already spoken and moments that were already gone. My mind became a constant loop of regret, fear, and self-blame. Every word, every glance, every decision, I questioned it all, and the sad truth is, I didn't even realize that I was slowly losing myself while trying to make sense of everything. I thought overthinking meant I cared. I thought that if I could analyze every detail, I could prevent pain, avoid mistakes, and protect my heart from being broken again. But what I didn't understand was that the act of trying to protect myself was the very thing destroying me. I built a prison in my mind with bars made of what-ifs. What if I said too much? What if I wasn't good enough? What if they leave? What if I fail? I was fighting battles that didn't even exist outside my imagination. I was exhausting myself trying to control things I was never meant to control. The most painful part of overthinking is that it makes you believe you're solving problems when, in reality, you're creating new ones. I used to imagine scenarios that never happened, convince myself of outcomes that didn't exist, and then emotionally react to them as if they were real. I punished myself for things I never did wrong, and I blamed myself for feelings that were completely valid. Overthinking is a silent poison. It doesn't break you all at once. It slowly eats away at your joy, your confidence, and your peace until you forget what being calm even feels like. I remember days when I couldn't even enjoy a simple moment because my mind wouldn't stop analyzing it. If someone smiled at me, I wondered why. If they didn't, I assumed I did something wrong. I couldn't enjoy a compliment without wondering if it was genuine. I couldn't experience love without preparing myself for heartbreak. My thoughts never let me rest. They always made me believe that something bad was just around the corner. It's exhausting living that way, constantly waiting for something to go wrong, constantly assuming that happiness is temporary, that peace is borrowed time. Overthinking made me believe that I needed to be perfect to be loved, perfect to be accepted, perfect to be safe. I thought if I said all the right things and did everything correctly, no one could hurt me. But perfection is an illusion that steals the beauty of being human. In trying to be perfect, I became numb. I was living, but I wasn't alive. My happiness depended on outcomes, on approval, on things I couldn't control. And that's when I realized something heartbreaking. I was never wrong. I was never wrong for feeling too much, for caring deeply, for wanting things to work. I was never wrong for trying. What was wrong was believing that I had to overthink my way into being enough. There were nights when I would break down for no reason, tears falling not because something happened, but because everything was happening inside my head. My mind was loud even when the world was quiet. I used to tell myself that I was just being careful, that I was protecting my heart, but in truth I was suffocating it. I was overanalyzing every breath, every emotion, every moment until I forgot how to just feel. I forgot that peace doesn't come from control, it comes from trust. Trusting that you did your best, trusting that you're not the problem, trusting that not everything requires an explanation. The more I overthought, the further I drifted from reality. I couldn't enjoy the present because I was stuck in the past or terrified of the future. I couldn't laugh freely because I was too busy wondering how long the laughter would last. I couldn't rest because my mind refused to let me. Overthinking turned my life into a series of unfinished moments. It took away my ability to just be, and that's what hurt the most. Not losing people, not facing failure, but losing myself in the process of trying to understand why everything happened the way it did. People around me thought I was strong, calm, collected, but inside I was fighting wars no one could see. Overthinking is invisible. It doesn't leave scars you can touch, but it leaves wounds you can feel every single day. It makes you question your worth, your choices, and your place in the world. It whispers lies that sound like truth, and makes you believe that happiness is something you have to earn through pain. But I was never wrong for being thoughtful, never wrong for feeling deeply, never wrong for loving completely. I just didn't know how to stop letting my mind replay the moments that were meant to be released. Every overthinker believes that if they just think a little harder, they'll find peace, but peace doesn't come from overanalyzing, it comes from acceptance. The more I tried to find answers, the more questions I created. The more I tried to make sense of things, the less they made sense. I kept searching for closure when the only closure I needed was from myself. Overthinking didn't protect me. It stole from me. It took my joy, my stillness, my clarity, and replaced them with endless uncertainty. It made me forget that happiness isn't found in control. It's found in letting go of the need to understand everything. I was never wrong, just too honest for the wrong people for the longest time. I carried the weight of guilt on my shoulders, the kind of guilt that made me question everything about myself. Every time someone walked away, I thought it was because of something I did. Every time I spoke my truth and it was met with silence or judgment, I thought maybe I should have kept quiet. I convinced myself that maybe I was too emotional, too expressive, too much. I replayed situations where I gave my heart, my loyalty, my energy, and when things fell apart, I immediately turned the blame inward. I thought I was the problem. I thought I was wrong for expecting honesty, wrong for wanting effort, wrong for believing in people who couldn't even believe in themselves. But now I understand something I wish I had known earlier. I was never wrong. I was just honest, and not everyone knows how to handle honesty. You see, being real in a world built on pretending is not easy. It's not easy to have a pure heart in a world that glorifies manipulation. It's not easy to speak your truth when most people are fluent in lies, and yet I never knew how to be any other way. I gave what I wanted to receive. I spoke with honesty because I valued connection. I showed vulnerability because I believed that was strength, but not everyone deserves access to your truth. Some people crave your light, but cannot handle the heat that comes with it. They love your energy when it comforts them, but resent it when it holds up a mirror to their own shadows. I was never wrong for caring too much. I was never wrong for wanting depth in a world addicted to surface-level connections. I was never wrong for expecting reciprocity, loyalty, and consistency. The mistake I made was believing that everyone I loved had the same heart as mine. I thought that by giving more, I could inspire others to give too. But some people take your love as weakness. They take your forgiveness as permission. They take your honesty as an attack because they aren't ready to face the truth within themselves. And when you start setting boundaries, when you start saying no to what drains you, suddenly you're the villain in their story. I learned that people will always have something to say about you, especially when your truth shakes the comfort of their lies. They'll call you dramatic when you express your feelings. They'll call you selfish when you start putting yourself first. They'll call you cold when you stop giving them the warmth they never appreciated. But that doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means you've outgrown their version of you, the version that tolerated disrespect, accepted less, and stayed silent to keep the peace. There were moments when I questioned my worth because people couldn't see it. I begged for validation in places where it would never come. I changed parts of myself to fit into spaces that were never meant for me, and each time I felt smaller, emptier, further from who I truly was. But that's what happens when you try to be understood by people who are committed to misunderstanding you. I realized that being misunderstood doesn't mean I'm wrong. It means I'm speaking a language not everyone is ready to hear. The world tells you to be humble, to be kind, to be forgiving, and you should be. But the world doesn't tell you that being all those things in front of the wrong people will break you, because the wrong people will make you question the very qualities that make you beautiful. They'll make you doubt your light. They'll make you believe that you are difficult when in reality you're just deep. They'll make you feel like your honesty is a problem when in truth it's their comfort with lies that's the real issue. I was never wrong for telling my truth. I was just surrounded by people who preferred the illusion of peace over the reality of growth. Sometimes you have to remind yourself that not everyone deserves to know your heart. Not everyone deserves access to your mind. Some people were only meant to meet the surface of you, not the soul of you. I used to open up too quickly, believing that being transparent would bring me closer to others. But I learned that vulnerability without discernment leads to disappointment. Not everyone who listens cares, and not everyone who smiles has good intentions. And when you're honest, people will either respect you for it or resent you for it. There's no in between. I had to unlearn the habit of apologizing for my emotions. I had to stop saying I'm sorry for things that weren't wrong, like caring, like setting boundaries, like saying no. I had to stop shrinking to fit the spaces that couldn't hold my truth. Because the truth is, I was never wrong for being genuine. I was never wrong for speaking up when something didn't feel right. I was never wrong for demanding the same energy I gave. My only mistake was thinking that people who couldn't match my honesty were capable of understanding my heart. And that's the thing about being real. It costs you people. It costs you relationships, comfort, and sometimes peace. But it also brings you clarity. It shows you who's truly meant for you. It filters out the ones who only loved your silence, not your truth. It teaches you that losing people who can't handle your honesty is not a loss. It's alignment. The right people will never make you feel wrong for being real. They'll see your honesty as a gift, not an inconvenience. They'll value your truth instead of punishing you for it. I was never wrong for being honest. I was simply surrounded by people who were too afraid to be, letting go of control to find peace. For most of my life, I believed that control was safety. I believed that if I could predict everything, prepare for everything, and plan every detail, I would somehow avoid pain. I tried to control outcomes, people, conversations, and even emotions. I wanted everything to make sense. I wanted life to unfold exactly the way I imagined it, because uncertainty terrified me. I thought if I stayed one step ahead, I could protect myself from disappointment, but all that really did was exhaust me. The more I tried to control, the less peace I had. The tighter I held on, the faster everything seemed to slip away from me. I didn't realize that the very act of trying to control life was what kept me from actually living it. There were days when I couldn't relax even in stillness because my mind kept running. I would wake up with anxiety, rehearsing conversations in my head, replaying mistakes, and trying to predict what could go wrong next. My mind was never quiet. Even in moments that were supposed to feel joyful, I couldn't fully be present. I would think about how long the happiness would last, how it might end, what could go wrong. I didn't understand that my obsession with control was just another form of fear. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of being hurt again. But fear and peace cannot coexist. You can't live freely when you're constantly trying to control what's uncontrollable. Letting go doesn't come naturally when you've lived most of your life believing that being in control means being strong. I used to think surrendering meant giving up, but now I know it means something completely different. It means trusting. Trusting that life unfolds the way it's meant to. Trusting that what's for you will never need chasing, and what leaves was never yours to begin with. Trusting that pain has purpose, even when you can't see it yet. I had to learn that peace isn't found in having control over everything. It's found in learning to breathe even when things don't make sense. When you try to control life, you end up fighting against its natural flow. You resist changes that were meant to grow you. You cling to people who were meant to leave. You chase answers that were meant to come in time. I realized that control is an illusion that keeps you from seeing the beauty of unpredictability. Every time something didn't go according to plan, I would fall apart. I took it personally, as if the universe was punishing me. But the truth is, sometimes what we call rejection is actually redirection. Sometimes what feels like a loss is protection. Sometimes what doesn't make sense today is preparing you for tomorrow. And when you stop fighting life, you begin to see that every unanswered question, every broken plan, and every ending was leading you somewhere better. Letting go taught me that peace isn't passive, it's powerful. It takes courage to release control, to stop forcing outcomes, and to allow things to unfold naturally. It takes strength to not chase clarity and to trust that what's meant for you will never require you to lose yourself. I had to stop trying to fix people, stop trying to rewrite my past, stop trying to make everything align perfectly, because perfection isn't peace, it's pressure, and pressure kills joy. I started to understand that the more I tried to control everything, the more I lost touch with myself. I forgot how to trust my intuition, how to enjoy the present, how to believe that everything would be okay even if I didn't have all the answers. The hardest part of letting go was learning to sit with uncertainty. I had to teach myself that not knowing isn't failure. It's faith. That I could feel confused and still be okay. That I could lose something I thought I needed and still find happiness again. I learned that peace comes when you stop demanding answers from life and start allowing it to show you in its own time. I used to chase closure from people who never gave it, replay moments that didn't deserve to be relived, and question things that didn't need to be understood. But closure doesn't come from others. It comes from acceptance. It comes from the quiet decision to stop explaining, stop fighting, stop clinging, and simply let things be. When I started letting go, I noticed how much lighter life felt. The same situations that once kept me awake at night no longer had power over me. I stopped trying to understand why things happened and started focusing on how I could grow from them. I stopped asking, "Why me?" and started saying, "What is this teaching me?" I stopped waiting for perfect timing and started embracing the present moment, because peace isn't something you find when everything is right. It's something you create in the middle of uncertainty. It's not about having control. It's about having faith that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop trying to control the outcome of everything you care about. It means you stop letting fear dictate your steps. It means you stop needing constant reassurance and start believing in your own strength. It means you stop living in the past and start trusting the process of becoming. I learned that you can't heal if you're still holding on to everything that broke you. You can't find peace if you're still trying to rewrite what's already written. You can't receive new blessings if your hands are still clenched around old pain. Life doesn't require perfection, it requires presence. And sometimes the only way to find peace is to surrender, to stop fighting the tide and allow yourself to float, even when you can't see the shore. Because when you stop forcing things, you start flowing with them. When you stop trying to control life, life starts showing you how much beauty there is in the unknown. And slowly, you start to realize that peace was never something you had to chase. It was waiting for you to stop running and simply let go.